Hello everyone. It's 10th of June, Tuesday. I think my camera is switched off, so if you just give me a couple of minutes, I will fix that. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna quickly send over a few links, in our free channels, so most of our members can actually see that we're live. Because this week, just like last week, we are now running a giveaway. So make sure to leave your comments in the chat box, and each one of you who comments and asks questions will have the chance to win a free full month in our premium Telegram channel. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by sending quick link in the free Telegram, and then I'm also going to send another link on Twitter and Facebook because we do have some followers there as well. Okay. So my camera should be on now, and it is exactly 8 a.m. as well. So London session open, and we do actually have something to talk about. As you can see, we already have some reaction here on pound dollar. We do have interesting price action on gold as well. Okay, so we're gonna come back to the charts in just a second. In the meantime, we're gonna wait for a few more people to join in, and then we can proceed with the analysis. Okay. We did also had NFP um, just this past Friday, and we did see some movement, not a lot of movement, but it kind of formed a range for price, which I wanted to see a breakout from. And it looks like this morning we've already got the breakout that I was looking at. So we're going to comment on that in just a minute. So what do we have here? I'm gonna start off with euro dollar. In fact, let's just check out the dollar index because I haven't looked at the chart yet this week. But you know, it's irrelevant at the moment as it is trading sideways. So here is what we have um, when we talk about euro dollar, right? So the first thing I see and I notice is this massive rejection wick right here. Again, this is the 4-hour time frame. In fact, let's have a look at the weekly chart here. Okay, so this is last week's candle. Okay, now if we drop down to the daily, not much going on. The 4-hour that we just checked out, I actually think we're gonna see um, a little bit of a bearish movement here. So what do I mean by that? Well, overall, obviously we are in a bullish trend and we're going to be looking for that bullish continuation, right? And we want to see price essentially going higher. Now, the thing is, I'm only looking to enter long trades here. So if I see that there is a potential for a bearish move, it only means that I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer for my entry. It doesn't mean that I'm going to switch my bias and I'm going to start looking for short trades. Okay, and this is what your thinking process should be whenever you're trading, right? So you prepare for the day ahead. You know what you're looking for, so you shouldn't switch your bias. Okay, and if you're following the long-term trend, most of the time you're going to be right. Okay, so we already know that euro dollar has been moving up and we're going to be looking for that continuation. So what happens if we see price breaking below previous structure? Because it looks like we now have a little bit more bearish pressure than we have bullish. So what do we mean by that? Well, we can see that we've got the rejection at the previous highs right here, okay, where we could manage to continue higher. So price returned all the way back down here to this previous structure, right? It tried to push higher, and again we have another rejection. We have price, again retracing. Then we try to push higher one more time, we have another rejection, and now we have a momentum candle taking price at the previous lows. So for now it looks like that this retracement will most likely continue pushing down. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, this is the 1-hour time frame. So obviously we have this structure right here where we've got equal lows, and we also have this previous low as well, around 1.1360 roughly. So I actually think we may come down, take out this structure, and maybe then we're going to get that reversal. And if that happens, those of you who have been following the live sessions, you guys know that these are my favorite type of setups. So if something like this happens here on the 1-hour time frame, for me that probably means I'm going to be looking to execute a trade. Now the thing is, if you drop down to a lower time frame, okay, and I already said that in the premium Telegram channel earlier today, is that we're most likely going to see a downside continuation. So we've got a Fibonacci retracement right here on this last move, and this is a massive rejection that we have at a Fibonacci level. So this one is actually looking pretty decent, and I can bet that this is most likely the 38.2 where we've got the candles bodies, right? Well, it's the 50%, but right around the 38.2 is where we actually see this reversal happening. And here is the result of it. We can already see a momentum to the downside. In fact, if you look at pound dollar, here is the 1-hour time frame, we've got a massive reaction here as well. And we were talking about the same thing, that we have this previous structure right here. So we have a support level, and in order for the market to gain enough momentum and strength to push higher and break above those most recent highs, we will need some liquidity, right? So where is all that liquidity sitting? It's below a support level. So we've got plenty of pending and stop loss orders right here. So the market needs to come down here, collect those orders, and then maybe give us that reversal. So obviously, since we are only looking for buying opportunities right now, we can't do anything. So we just gotta wait. Now, if you're looking to go against the trend, which I don't recommend, that probably means you can wait for, let's say, a retest here of the breakout level and then maybe a continuation to the downside. However, I would not recommend this, okay? But we definitely have some pretty decent setups here on euro dollar and pound dollar. And I really wanted to see price pushing to the downside, taking out some previous structure. Because if I get a reversal now, I know that the market has tricked a lot of people, and I'm even more confident to actually enter a long trade as long as I get the setup and the reversal that I want to see. So let's see how it goes. And it's only the beginning of the week as well. Um, we are going to have enough time to, potentially find an entry in case we get that reversal. I'm gonna have a quick look at the economic calendar. Obviously, we've got important news coming up tomorrow. Of course, we're talking about CPI. So, you know, my local time that is 3:30 p.m. So after lunchtime, but just make sure that you double check your time zone right here, so you know exactly when the news are coming out. But until tomorrow, we may not see a firm reversal, basically what I'm going to be looking for. Okay, because if that happens with the help of the news, well, then this is going to be just a classic setup, right? And we're going to be more than happy to take advantage of such a setup, right? So what else do we have? We have gold right here. So we're kind of moving faster here on gold, because if you're looking at the 1 hour time frame, what is currently happening with euro dollar and pound dollar has already happened on gold. Okay, so we had this support level right here, and as you can see, we had our first drop to previous lows. We then had a pullback, and then we have a lower structure, and this is exactly what is currently happening on euro dollar and pound dollar. So we are kind of moving faster here, and as you can see, we're now also forming a higher low. So let's see how it goes. Obviously, if we have a nice breakout above this previous structure, so let's see we do something like this, we can then eventually look for price to create another higher low, and we can possibly take advantage of that. But on gold, just like with euro dollar and pound dollar, even if price is dropping, I'm not looking to take a sell trade. All right, even if I have to wait until after the news tomorrow to start looking for entries, well, then that's what I'm gonna do. Another instrument is dollar yen. Okay, so we were looking at price when it was up here this morning, about a couple of hours ago, and for me, that was the beginning of a potential downside move, what we have right now. So we also just took out this previous high, and we immediately had a rejection. So we did actually say to the premium Telegram members that we can now look for selling opportunities. And if you look at the 1 hour time frame, this is the 1 hour candle that we had a nice massive rejection. Okay, so you can see this wick, we tried to break above this previous high, couldn't manage to do so, and also left a rejection wick right here. So this is kind of a textbook setup for a potential move in the opposite direction. And this is exactly what we saw. Now, will price continue pushing down? I'm not sure. But I would expect it to maybe come down and retest the previous lows right here. If it does, then it's going to turn out to be a pretty decent setup, this one. And this is what I'm talking about. Even though I feel like there is a potential for a downside continuation here on dollar yen, meaning that maybe here on the lower time frames you can potentially find a good setup to take price lower, expecting it to at least retest the previous lows. Even if I have a good setup, I'm not going to take a trade. Because I'm waiting for entries on the majors, but overall I'm expecting for dollar yen to continue lower. Okay, and we already have that rejection on the 1 hour time frame. This is a pretty decent setup actually. Now, since I am expecting a bearish move, it's not a bad idea to look for trades. The only thing is I like the setups on the majors more. But if you don't trade, for example, euro dollar and pound dollar, and maybe if you don't trade gold, then dollar yen is something that you can have a look at, as well as euro Aussie, where I'm expecting a bearish continuation as well. All right. But other than that, we don't really have anything else that could affect price action apart from CPI, until the end of the week. Now on Thursday, 12th of June, we're gonna have another live session, which I would recommend for you guys to join as well, and of course leave comments, because this is going to increase your chance of winning a free month in the premium Telegram channel. We don't even, do 1 month subscriptions. So you'll actually have the chance to join for a month, which is totally enough for you to, see what the difference in your trading is going to be. Here is another perfect example of the setups that I usually look at. And this right here is gold. So what happens right here? We have this low, okay? Price breaks above this minor structure. We then have a higher low, and then we have another breakout of a previous structure, also this one right here. So if we are expecting for price to continue higher, then we're waiting for an entry, right? Obviously, we're not going to enter right here. If we want to go long, we need for price to come down lower so we can actually build up our position, have a decent stop loss level and a positive risk to reward ratio. So what happens next? We actually break below this structure because this is our most recent low, and this is where we have many stop loss orders as well. Okay, not only that, but people will be trying to enter with pending orders right here at the low, placing their stop losses just below that low. So as soon as the market takes out this structure right here, you can see it goes back to the upside. This is a pretty decent setup that I did not take a trade here, but it's looking fine. Now, since we have a higher structure on the 1 hour time frame, and ideally we want to see a higher high as well, well then that means next time this happens, we're then going to be able to take a trade, a more confirmed decision, right, and a more confirmed setup than what we just saw. Technically, the setup that I just showed you is looking perfect, but when you look at the 1 hour chart, I wasn't really sure whether we're not actually going to take out this low, not only this one, okay, because on the 15-minute time frame, this is the low that we looked at. And then if you look at the 1 hour chart, we actually had this one as well. So I wasn't sure whether we're not going to do the same pattern but on the 1 hour time frame, and so that's why I didn't take a trade. Now if we break above this most recent high, well then that means I can drop down to a lower time frame if I want to, and I can look for exactly the same setup. Usually fundamentals are on our side as well. It's just CPI that we have tomorrow, and I'm expecting more of a reaction than what we had during NFP, right? And this is a conversation that I had on Friday with a few members, saying that NFP is not as strong as it used to be. I remember some years ago, NFP was just crazy. Right now, there's not much of a movement during NFP. It's mostly CPI and interest rate decision, especially Fed interest rate decisions, because these are the main news that the market follows. It's basically inflation and interest rates. Nothing else is as strong and as influential for price on the financial markets right now. All right, quite a big drop here on pound dollar. Not that much of a movement on gold, and I'm actually also looking at the 1 hour chart. As you can see, this is not even we can now see some rejection on euro dollar. It's obviously way too early to enter a trade, but if, for example, this 1 hour candle right here, the current candle, if it leaves a rejection wick, and especially if it closes as a bullish candle, this is going to be a strong signal that we're most likely going to see that push higher. All right, and it's also going to happen with momentum. It really depends on what candle we get here. So let's see. Now, if I place the Fibonacci right here on this last move, we've got the 61.8 at 1.1320. So this would be ideal case scenario for us to see price pushing down towards. So we've got this support right here, and if let's say we see price pushing down towards 61.8 or basically 1.1320 roughly, the level right here, this is where I'm going to be looking for a potential reversal. And if we get a reversal, well then I'm going to be taking a trade with a stop loss just below that reversal. Okay, other than that, whatever kind of trades you take right now, it's considered risky. And by the way, we are still trading. I think this is that's right, this is the news candle right here. So let me just mark this candle out like this. We're still trading within the news candle from Friday. This is the NFP candle right here, the 1 hour candle. And as you can see, since then, we've been trading within this range. We've got a strong breakout on pound dollar though. So for pound dollar, we've got the level of 1.3420. All right, and this is the 38.2 level. That's also basically a retest of this previous low. So if we manage to come down here, let's see whether price will actually give us that reversal. Now, when it comes to the yen cross pairs, I'm not looking for any trades here. I just don't like the way price action is. Yes, we do have some rejection here at the previous highs, but do I want to take a sell trade? I don't think so. We're also struggling to break above the previous major high here on euro yen as well. You know, we're most likely going to continue higher, but you know, I don't really have a good setup. Also, guys, don't forget that you can actually send me your trading setups. Um, you can DM me on Telegram. The link to find me, you can actually find in the free Telegram channel. It's below every single post. And you can send me a screenshot of your trades, your trading setups, and I can have a look at them. Even if you're not trading the pairs that I'm looking at during during those live sessions, I don't mind. I'll have a look at the instruments that you're trading. All right, for now it looks like we're rejecting the previous lows here on euro dollar. There's definitely still a chance that we could continue lower, so I'm not gonna rush and enter a long trade here. All right, so we reached this previous low here on the 1 hour time frame on pound dollar, and we're now reacting off that level right around 1.3460. Now obviously we still got some room down here, but I'm not going to be surprised if we see a pullback now and then later on we see that continuation. Remember, the news are tomorrow, so it's more important where price is tomorrow. And today I would normally not expect that much of a movement, which means, for example, here on euro dollar, we may see price continuing to trade within this range. Okay, maybe tomorrow it's going to give us what we need to see. And then you look at gold and it looks like it's pushing up, but just current price levels are not good if you want to go long, obviously. So we either want to see price breaking above this previous structure right here, and we're then going to be looking for entries on the retest, or if we come down and then we leave a higher low, higher than this previous one, with a nice reversal right here, we can then potentially try and get into a short-term trade. But if price starts pushing down, I'm not going to be looking to take a sell trade. That's very important. Let's see what's going on with dollar yen. Okay, so after this drop, it looks like we now have a pullback here as well. So we'll have to see how this 1 hour candle will eventually close. I've still got about 25 minutes for the 1 hour candle. And in the meantime, if I'm looking at the lower time frames, you know, it looks like we may form another bearish leg right here to eventually break below this minor support that we have on the 15-minute time frame. And then for the hourly candle, that would mean that we're going to have another rejection wick right here. So if that happens, first we have this one, and then we may have another one right here. This is going to be an extra confluence, extra confirmation that we're most likely going to see a downside continuation here on dollar yen. You know, it's been a while since I had a decent setup on dollar yen, so maybe that's why I'm not really keen on entering any trades here on dollar yen. It's just a pair that I don't trade often. I would much rather stick to euro dollar and, you know, and pound dollar and gold. I see a couple of people join. You guys don't forget to ask questions and leave your comments in the chat box, and you have a chance of winning a full month in the premium Telegram channel. We did another one of those giveaways last week, and we've already added the winner in the premium Telegram channel. So, you know, everything that we talk about here was already mentioned about 2 hours ago. And so premium Telegram members could have taken the trade on dollar yen, because earlier this morning when I was talking about a downside move, price was trading up here. It was just forming up this rejection. So I said that there is a high probability that we're most likely going to see a downside move, and this is exactly what happened. Exactly the same thing on euro dollar and pound dollar. When we look at the 1 hour time frame, like I said, I wanted to see price coming down lower. So for example, around 1.1320 here for euro dollar, and around 1.3420 for pound dollar, which is the 38.2 retracement level. And then next thing we see is price melting to the downside. It's very valuable information in the premium channel. And if you want to get the chance for a free trial, a full month, all you got to do is just comment during the live session. I shouldn't even be looking at the yen cross pairs, to be honest. I'm definitely not interested into taking any trades here. And by the way, you can check out Euro Pound and Euro Aussie for a potential downside continuation as well. Even though I wanted to see a bit of a pullback here on both of these instruments. So Euro Aussie is definitely looking much better than Euro Pound now. Just follow price action, see what it does, because we are currently trading at previous highs, and also we've got some previous structure right here. It's a pretty decent level where we could potentially see a reversal. Okay, so maybe check this out. I'm not saying take an entry right now, but I'm just saying, maybe add this to your watch list with potential instruments. Yes, this is the best thing you can do, Borislav. I think this is the best thing you can do. You know, this is what I said in the beginning of the live session. If I don't get a good enough setup to enter a trade, I'm just gonna have to wait until the news are over tomorrow, and then maybe look for entries later on throughout the week. But I'm definitely not gonna rush and enter a trade, especially not just before the news. It doesn't make any sense. I'm expecting to see a lot more movement during CPI tomorrow compared to what we had on NFP during NFP on Friday, because it wasn't that much. You can clearly see here, this is the 1 hour candle from NFP just this past Friday. And you know, what is the range that we have here? Let me just, you know, around 50 pips, not that much. But then we have CPI tomorrow. I feel like we're going to have a stronger reaction in the market. So ideally, we take out some previous lows right here, and we then see that reversal, because if that happens, this is going to be a perfect setup. And we can already see this here on pound dollar and also on gold as well, where we took out this previous structure. So let me have a look at the figures for CPI. What is expected? 2.5, 2.3, 0.2. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Other, you know, it's a bit of a mess with the news. I mean, sometimes you may have positive results for the US dollar, and then you see bearish price action. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I myself, I avoid trading before or during news. I almost never do it. You know, the best strategy that worked for me is just wait for the news, wait for the market to calm down, and then look for trades. But trying to predict and just thinking that maybe you know what's gonna happen, it's a mistake, I think. So what is going on here on euro dollar? As soon as I saw that we're forming up a rejection wick right here, I did say that we're most likely going to see price turning into a bullish candle. So since that's what we have now, I feel like we're going to see some momentum to the upside, maybe on the lower time frames. It doesn't mean I'm going to be taking a long trade, but we're most likely going to come down or come up here and retest the previous highs again. But let's see, there's still about 15 minutes till that 1 hour candle closes. However, if it closes like this or even more bullish, then I would expect that there is a higher probability that we're most likely going to retest the previous highs again. And we can just, trade within this range until tomorrow, So, sometimes it's just too obvious that it's probably best to wait. Wait for, either a breakout, news release, or whatever it is. But because even looking at gold, here is the 15-minute time frame. We haven't really moved that much in the past hour. Pound dollar is slowing down around 1.3460. Strong 4-hour candle here. We can come back for a retest around 1.35 level, 35.20, 35.10, something like this. And maybe then we're going to see that continuation to the downside. Hey Borisov, you have to give me your Telegram handle because we have another live session on Thursday, and then we gotta find out who's the giveaway winner. But I'm gonna need your Telegram handle. Or you can just let me just double check if mine is correct. All right, I'm just gonna copy and paste it. Or you can just send me a message right here. Okay, so not much going on. I think I'm gonna end the session right here. We're gonna do another one on Thursday, which is going to be after the CPI news. Then we're gonna see, how the market has reacted and whether we have any decent setups. So watch out for the 1-hour candles. Don't forget to check out dollar yen as well. Okay, euro pound, euro Aussie, where we also have potential entries. Be careful, be smart. If you don't have a good enough setup, just do not take a trade. It's as simple as that. Remember, we have high impact news tomorrow, so until then, we may not even see that much of a movement. All right. Remember, we're still trading within the NFP candle from Friday here on euro dollar, and while price is trading sideways, there's no point for us to rush with our entries. All right. So I think that's pretty much all. Don't forget to join the free Telegram channel. You can find all you can find all the links in the description below this stream. Join the free Telegram channel. You will get updated with everything that we do. In order to enter the giveaway, all you got to do is just comment on in the chat box, so you are already in the giveaway. And then we're gonna do another one on Thursday, and hopefully more people join to watch. And the more comments we have, the more participants we have. Obviously, for now it's just yourself, so things are going well for you. But send me a message on Telegram so I can have your profile, in case we need to add you in the premium channel. All right. I'll see you guys in the next live session again on Thursday, um, 12th of June. Until then, take care, be smart, and make sure to calculate your risk. I should start saying this every time I end a video or a live session, because to this day I get people texting me losing their money just because they cannot calculate their risk properly. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.